Hello and welcome everyone to episode 58 of Awakening to Ascension. I am your host, Alex Nelson, here with Janae and Marlene. Today's topic is, are aliens multidimensional? Yes. Yes, they are. We are multidimensional. Everything in existence is multidimensional. So I'm just going to lay it out for you right off the bat. No question about it. Janae, what do you have for us?
Okay. I was about to just get comfy there, but I'm going straight in. So I would like to just reiterate something. We speak a lot of this frequency, this vibration, this energy for us to be able to connect with the alien, if we call them that. They are vibrating at a different frequency. So if we look at it like a radio station, all right, I'm going to use the radio stations here in South Africa. It's just what I know. So we are tuned into 94.7, okay? And these beings are tuned into 5 FM. What we've got to do is we've got to change our frequency so that we can also tune into their radio station and listen to their music and be on their frequency, feel what they feel, embody what they embody. And when I say also with regards to the frequency, we need to remove this programming that we have been made to believe that they are up in space and they are flying above us and they are, in different galaxies. Yes, that is very true. But when we go into the science of it, we are living in different dimensions, in different timelines, concurrently. Time is an illusion. So we are busy living our past, our present, and our future selves. We are just consciously aware of this timeline. But with regards to that, when we take this programming and we throw it away, we need to understand that these beings are living amongst us. They are walking around in the shopping center, right where we are walking around, because we are all living. We're living as one. We are all the same. It's all happening together. And I don't know if I should pass it over before I bring in some more. Let me pass it over and then I'll come back. Marlene.
Thank you, thank you. So, my word that I'm going to bring in right now is consciousness. Imagine that multidimensional beings, and we are all multidimensional beings, are thought to travel via consciousness. What does that mean? If we're all conscious beings of light, then how can we adjust our consciousness to actually make contact with other people? So there is a music app called Garden Radio, and this is the most amazing map of the world. It is a ball, and you can listen to any, and I mean any radio station in the entire world by clicking on one of the little dots. And let me tell you, it is immediate. There is no waiting for that frequency change. You literally, from South Africa, I can listen anywhere in the world. If I want to listen to the Hawaiian Honolulu what's, I press there, and in 3 seconds' time, I'm there. That is me changing my consciousness to where I'm going to be traveling to listen. And it is immediate. And that is how these alien life forms are actually in and amongst us. Past, present, future, all timelines, all dimensions, they are here. They shapeshift. So it is us that also need to just change our consciousness. And that also changes the frequency and the vibration of our being. Alex.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you both said. I want to kind of put into perspective as well. So it might sound a little crazy when we say, yeah, they're multidimensional, they are among us. But just keep in mind how far we have come as a human race. Like if 50 years ago, I told you that we'd have these little computers that we carry with us all over like all day, we can talk to anyone from across the world, we can do video calls. You tell me I was completely out of my mind. So that just goes to show like we have to open our consciousness and our minds open to be like, yeah, there's probably more out there that we don't understand. I mean, and just recently, I guess one of our former presidents, Obama, mentioned on a podcast that aliens were real. And then the current president's like, yeah, we're going to start releasing all the files. And then I saw this other podcast, or I think it was a news thing, where Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, like the guy from Star Talk and like the Cosmos, he was talking about aliens and how he thinks they're real. We just don't have any proof of it. But then when we also look into the microcosm, like as humans, we're always looking at the solar system, the galaxy, the universe. If it doesn't fit into that plane of existence, we deem it non-existent. But when we go into the microcosm, into like the tiny universe within our bodies, I mean, you take an atom, right? It's got protons, electrons, neutrons. That's is so similar to the shape of a solar system. If you take the sun as the nucleus and everything's swirling around it, we have literal galaxies inside of ourselves at all times. So why would we be so dense to not think that there's other stuff going on there? Maybe we can't see. I mean, also until microscopes were invented, we didn't even know that cells were a thing. So we just need to keep our minds open and consider that there's probably more out there that we're not aware of. Yes, Janae.
Okay, I'm going to share something that happened very, very recently, and it's very real. So I have a very, very good friend who is extremely attuned, and his pineal gland, his third eye, he has got no calcification. He is, he's almost a monk living among us. So I was in his presence, and we have been discussing a couple of just obviously, you know, the discussions between like-minded individuals can be quite a topic of conversation because it's a really beautiful space to be in. And what happened was personally, I have someone with me, and we are unsure as to what, who, how, those questions. But what happened was I left the one room, and as I left the room, this bright light shot down. Okay? And he described it as a benevolent being. This being was so big in stature and so bright that it was almost blinding. And this benevolent being had an engagement with him. And it was a very short period of time. There were no words spoken, but just energy exchange, frequency. And this benevolent being then turned and followed me because I was walking. So it's a very real topic. And one can argue individuals that have had these experiences, but when you experience it firsthand, and when you hear of stories that are being told where people are seeing these various benevolent beings, aliens, and it's not always what one would imagine them to look like. I think that's again this programming that we've got in our mind that an alien looks like what has been presented to us. They take form in many shapes, sizes, colors, and I believe that once we open our minds and stop having this this very straight-minded analytical view of what this could look like, then I think that that expansion will allow them to reveal themselves as a collective. And I'd also like to just state that the alien aircraft is flying among us at eye level and in the sky. There are big ones, there are small ones, there are motherships, there are all shapes and sizes and from all different beings. And this very, very close friend and myself were looking up at the sky the one evening as well. And we noticed because you can see stars, you can see satellites, you can see the difference between a star, a satellite, an airplane. You can tell, it's just common sense. And we both spotted this aircraft ship. And this guy was busy moving. And when we noticed it, we said out loud, we're like, oh my gosh, do you see it? And we were looking at the exact same one, and it disappeared. It got shy. So it was like, oh, I've been seen. I've been noticed. And then it came back and it came closer. It came closer and it started moving in these patterns and in these shapes. And then it went away again. So it was almost as though it was playing a game with us, and we were entertaining it so much because we were having the best time. And it's when we speak of these vibrations, these frequencies, when you are attuned to that vibration and frequency, you are allowing yourself to feel comfortable around them. They feel comfortable around you. And that's when we can start living coherently and we can live together as one, which is how we are meant to be embodying this experience. Yes, Marlene.
So I'll add to that. That's beautiful. That's amazing. So again, it goes to speak on the co-creation of consciousness. And so what I feel was happening was also that the aliens feel your consciousness and you feel their consciousness. And when the two adjust, that is when they make themselves available for us to see. The most fascinating thing that I can think of is back in the day of the Tower of Babel. So here you've got this tower and you've got all of these people. Yeah, they're all human beings, but they all spoke in different languages. So if we speak in different languages and we can't understand one another's language, then you've got to come down to a different kind of language, which is like sign language, yeah, which everybody can understand, and gestures, emotions. So I always think that that's also how the intelligent life forms out there actually feel into us and see us, because they really do want to communicate. And speaking to the point of Alex, there's actually the most amazing documentary, I forget the name of it, that I was watching about a week and a half ago on the Universal Day, on the 18th of February. And all of the presidents, all of the people in the US have known about these spaceships and the alien life forms for yonks of years. And there's a fascinating, I'll actually get the name of it and I'll put it into the school group tomorrow, so that people can actually go and see it. It is incredible what actually goes on and how long it's been going on for and how much of a cover up it is. But it's honestly just that consciousness. It's this feeling into one another. Okay, can I, can't I, should I, shouldn't I? So amazing shares. Yes, Alex.
So just popped into my mind, is the title of that The Age of Disclosure?
That is it. The age of disclosure.
Cool.
Correct. Got
Cool.
it.
That just
Yes.
popped into my head. Yeah, and so this actually touches a little bit on what we were talking about a couple days ago about the egregore effect, where if we can all let go of like the fear from aliens and accept them as benevolent beings, that'll make them much more likely to come and interact with us. One thing that I thought of as well that I really am interested to hear what you both have to say is these landmarks that we have. So you have Stonehenge, you've got the Sphinx in Egypt, and the Sphinx was actually built in. So right now we're in the age of Aquarius, right? The Sphinx was built in the age of Leo. It's a lion, right? And I heard that it's not just like a tomb, it's actually like a warp gate or like an X marks the spot that aliens can see and use that to travel between different dimensions. I don't know too much about that. I have heard, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Yes, Janae.
It's when you get in an airplane and you fly up and you're able to notice with your human eye the various patterns and colors that are being created. And we've got those things that are also called crop circles, where it's these patterns that have been created with crops and how the crops are grown so that these patterns are created. And that, I think, is also just a topic entirely on its own with regards to how the crop circles are staying in that formation, as well as, what Alex has mentioned. There are parts all over the world which are landmarks for them because they've obviously created a relationship with that specific land that they feel safe to land on or to come down to or to make themselves visible. So I do believe that there is there's a deeper meaning behind what we are all a little bit not too familiar with regards to understanding why there are these patterns, what makes these patterns. There's actually a movie about the crop circles and the higher intelligence coming through. I'll also try and remember the movie and I can put it in the school group, but it's a very, very, I think, beautiful relationship that Earth has created with the other life forms naturally, and that is over time. That is evolution. We are talking because these patterns and synchronicities within the Earth have not just happened overnight. This is millennials of years that this has taken place and formed. Mazes. There are so many different ways in which we are communicating with them. And I think that it's becoming a topic that's a little bit more comfortable to speak of, because if we look at our ancestors, they were burnt at the stakes and they were shunned and they were sent out and they were killed and they were hurt because it was unheard of. How can you discuss these things? You are bringing shame to our family name. But we've all witnessed, we've watched documentaries, we've watched movies, we're watching it unfold as it's happening. So I think now we're at an age where it's becoming such a beautiful unfolding because there are so many people that are, we're all revealing such big truths and we're all listening. Our eyes are wide, our ears are open, and we are ready to receive. Our third eyes are very receptive and we're willing to see the truth because we came here to remember. Yes, Marlene.
Absolutely. And in South Africa, we have a guy called Michael Tellinger. And Michael Tellinger he's a world leader at this subject, honestly. I'll drop some information because I have been to Kaapsehoop and I have seen the stones, and from the aerial view and seeing it on the ground. Oh my word. The civilization, the history, there is just no getting away from these things. I've been to Stonehenge, to Woodhenge in Wiltshire. I tell you, the energy. I mean, when you're looking at those rocks, there's no way that human beings did that stuff. So absolutely, Alex, there's like so much. I mean, we could have an entire program just discussing the stones, the age old traditions of how all of these things were formed. It's fascinating. Michael Tellinger also speaks of the Taurus stone, which is a stone with it looks like a donut with a hole in the middle. Do yourselves a favor, go look it up. It's fascinating. Alex.
Oh yeah. See, I am so jealous. I want to see those monuments so badly. I'll get there at some point in this lifetime. And what also is super interesting is a lot of these like monuments, they're actually built on specific spots on the earth, and they're like powerful nodal points. And I heard of it described as like the chakra system of Earth, where they're all in like their different, and if you like unfold them, they're all like perfectly lined up with one another. It's so cool. It's so cool. Janae, did you have something else to say? I don't know if I saw you.
Just what you just touched on now with regards to the placement of them. There is a bigger understanding, and there have been many that have not been able to complete their work of discovery because they were getting too close to the truth. And there is specific distances between these various areas, and they've been placed on specific land which holds specific frequency, which had specific inhabitant beings on it, and all of them are interlinked with one another. If you look at the pyramids, for instance, and what Tesla was busy working on with regards to the frequencies and the energies and how we are able to generate electricity and power using the pyramids, because the pyramids have been designed and placed in a shape and with a specific distance with regards to how that energy is generated. And unfortunately, there are beings that have withheld certain information because that amount of power is not going to sit well with those in power, because they would like for us to continue to pay for the power. So there's much that we can get into with regards to this topic. Yes, Marlene.
I'm going to end it off by saying to Alex that Glastonbury in the UK is actually the heart chakra of the world. And Uluru in Oz, I forget which one that is, but that's the other very big one. So we can discuss that as well in another topic. It's fabulous. But Glastonbury, the heart.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's the heart chakra somewhere here in America on the West Coast, the Northwest. But yeah, and also what Janae was saying, and I'll just wrap this up real quick. Within ancient Egypt, they had these things called the Jed pillars, and they used Tesla technology to power the entire city. But again, this is free, so they can't charge for that because they would just cover the entire area. And with that, we're going to end it off. If you have any information on whether or not aliens are multidimensional beings, drop that in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.